Hello and welcome to the Top Bin 90 show, a show dedicated to soccer. We talk European, we talk MLS and international soccer. Today we're going to have a little bit of a Honduran trio. You got me, you have Jonathan, and you have Rome. Boys, how are you today?
Good.
Doing all right.
Nice. What was the best part of your day?
Going to play, to be honest.
Okay. Well, you told me you play striker, right?
Yeah.
Did you score?
I played goalie today, to be
Come
honest.
on, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to play goalie today. But yeah, I love scoring. You know it.
Nice. How about you, Jonathan? How was your day? What was the best part of your day?
Well, I came back to work. I didn't have to work yesterday, but the best part that I have a short week.
That's always good, right? I know the feeling for that, man. So cool, man. So like our show is all about soccer, so we talk everything soccer. And first thing I want to go over first is El Clásico en La Liga. You know, I'm a little bit upset because I'm a Barca fan. Both of you are Madrid fans, and it was kind of a. Honestly, I don't think Madrid deserved to win that game, but they won that game because I think they have an experienced defender like Sergio Ramos. What are your guys' thoughts on the game?
I think that he was the missing piece at Shakhtar, no cap. Because Ramos' leadership in the game is just crazy. There's no one like him on the field.
Yeah. What about today, though? He was out there.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I didn't watch the game today.
I got you. It's a 2-2.
Yeah. I don't know. He just changes it, though.
He does, man.
Being on the field.
Yeah, that mentality I think is very, very important. That's why, like, as much as I don't like Madrid, I like players like Ramos because, like, he understands, man. Like, even during the game, like, when the ref was about to go check VAR, he was like in the ref's ear, like he was like, it's a penalty, it's a penalty, and like you're putting pressure on the referee. You're like, yo, this is a World Cup winning defender. Like,
Thanks.
Yeah. What did you think, Jonathan?
Well, Ramos, you need him in every game. You want him in your team every time. Barca wish they had somebody like him, like Piqué. Like ever since Puyol, they need a leader. Because Messi, come on now, he can't. He's not a captain. He's not a leader. But you need that important piece, that guy that brings you up, man.
Well, I think we have it back there in Ter Stegen. He's a world-class goalkeeper. Piqué, I'll give it to you. He's kind of on a downfall now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was great for a couple of years. Now he's just a good and okay defender, you know. And so, but the one thing I do see the difference between Madrid and Barcelona is with Madrid, honestly, I don't think you guys have anything up top. Like, I mean, Benzema to me has never been a great striker. He's a good striker. But even this season, I'm like, okay, like he's not looking that great. And like Vinicius is an inconsistent player. And then I'm like, okay, where else are you guys getting that attacking threat? Versus Barcelona, I think we do have a great attacking threat. We're still missing a striker. But I think up top we look really good. The problem with Barca, I feel like, is the mentality. Once they go down 1-0, like you're right, like I don't think Messi does a good job of picking up the team back up or saying, hey, like let's go again. Like I feel like that's not his strong suit.
I agree with you on the Benzema being up top, man. He's not a number 9 striker, the one you want in that area. He drops. I mean, I like that he builds up play, but we need another striker. We need somebody to play along with him. And look at Jovic, he's not the one.
Yeah.
I wish we would have
I honestly forgot that he played for Madrid. So I was like, oh yeah, look at Jovic.
Man, we should have signed Cavani. We need somebody else to go with him.
You know what? That's a good point. I would have taken Cavani if I was a Madrid fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad they made like a rule. The president, if everybody brought their salary down, then they were.
That's true. Limited teams because Atletico was in it for him as well.
They promised if everybody brings the salary down, we won't sign anybody. Real Madrid did not get a single player. Yeah,
this is the first time in like something crazy like 50 years where they didn't sign anybody, right?
It's crazy. We haven't got a Galactico in a while. Man. Yeah. Probably Courtois was the last one.
Eden Hazard, but like he hasn't like existed at Madrid.
He played today. He did. He came on. But in the Clásico, we weren't missing him though.
Yeah, but like this Clásico to me, like okay, it could have went in any way. Like I think Barca was setting up some good plays, and then like I said, that Sergio Ramos, like that instinct. That's the one thing I loved about having Suarez on the team for Barcelona is like he'll pull you penalties like that. like where the refs like, dang, I kind of gotta call this, even though because like if you look at it, Sergio Ramos like fell like 4 minutes later, like he pulled him and then like later I'm like, all right, bro, like you're just selling it now.
Yeah. he was selling it. I'm a Madrid fan. As a ref, I would not have called it, but with VAR nowadays,
That's true. Like you
that-
you kind
have
of
to
gotta
call
give it, yeah.
You have to call it. And to be honest, that would have been the fourth penalty that they don't call in a Clásico, going back to last year between Madrid and Barcelona. And
Which one are you thinking of?
last year, where Varane was like, I don't know how they did not call that a penalty.
Okay, yeah.
Then there
I'll
was
give it
one.
to you.
So I feel like the fourth one, they were like, we need to give it to Madrid at this point.
Yeah.
And but that was a good game. That was a good game.
It started off really good. Like, okay, like I was like, dang, Madrid scored. Then we went, Messi passes it to Jordi Alba to Ansu Fati, who's on fire, but he's not a 9, which is, he's going to score you goals, but he's not a natural 9. And so, then it kind of got a little bit boring towards the middle, but then it picked up again towards the end. So, Rome, who do you see as kind of the team in La Liga right now that's kind of looking like do you see a clear favorite to win La Liga this year?
A clear to win La Liga? Nah, I don't think so. But I think that there's gonna be big surprises like Granada, Getafe, all of them teams, bro. In the Europa League, Granada's doing good, bro.
Yeah.
Surprising. They beat, who did they just beat? I forgot who they just beat, but they just beat a big team.
Yeah, they did. I can't think of the team either, but yeah. Although I think in La Liga, you're always going to have Barca and Madrid. Maybe Atletico this year, but I only say maybe Atletico is because Real Madrid and Barca look really average.
Yeah.
They don't like if you ask me who the top 5 teams in Europe right now is, I wouldn't put Barca or Madrid in there.
Yeah, same. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, or their coaches. And even with Barcelona now, like that's something that I'm looking at. Okay, like they just got rid of Bartomeu.
Oh, yeah, I just seen that, matter of fact.
And I'm like, okay, so, like, what's going to happen? Like, is Koeman still going to be the coach? And this is what I don't like, that he resigned now. Why don't you just resign before the season started, bro?
Honestly.
You could at least give us a better shot of planning something. Because now, like, okay, no one knows, is the coach staying? Is Messi staying? Like, it's just so much turmoil there that I'm like, okay, like, I would say we're not in the title race. But then seeing how Madrid plays, I'm like, okay, we're still in the title race.
It's going to be a good race, bro. I think it's just going to be a surprise in the end. I don't think it's going to end up in Madrid's hands or Barca's hands.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you see pulling it off? Maybe Atletico Madrid?
Maybe. Or
Okay.
Sevilla if they pick up their slack.
Actually, you know what? Sevilla does look good.
Yeah.
What about you, Jonathan? Who do you see in Lely?
I agree with my man over here. Atletico Madrid might take it. This might be the first time since 2015 somebody else takes it.
Yeah.
Barcelona and Madrid, man, they're not looking good.
Yeah.
Madrid, they're not playing well. They have some injuries with Carvajal on the right. They're playing a winger. They might drop some points early on. Barcelona, still, the chemistry's not there.
Yeah.
They have some nice young players. Sergio Best was the best player of the game. And that's
yeah. I was like, what's up,
Ansu
Sergino?
Fati.
Yeah.
Well, but to be honest, Coach Simeone, he has the experience. They have Suarez, they have Diego Costa, and with a combination of the Portuguese player,
Joao Felix, yeah.
man, Atletico Madrid might take it.
Yeah. The only problem that I have with Atletico, they don't look as solid as they did a couple years ago. Like a couple of years ago, you would go and watch them, or you would watch them and be like, okay, like this is going to be a really hard team to beat. Now, like, you watch them, you're like, okay, like, they're still a good team, but I feel like they're more vulnerable. Like, the Bayern game, they got slapped up. A couple of years ago, that wouldn't happen. A couple of years ago, they eliminated Bayern. Yeah. You know, like, they were tighter in the back, and the counters were amazing with, you had Griezmann in his prime, who's not doing well for us, but.
I think losing Godin was a big one.
Yeah.
Giving up Godin was bad.
Yeah, but I think he's kind of past his prime, too, so.
He is, but, Simeone likes experienced players, and he gets the best out of them every time.
He does,
he
man.
could have got 2 more years there.
You know, the interesting thing is, I think when we let David Villa go to Atletico, they actually won La Liga.
They did.
So now that Luis Suarez went to Atletico, it might happen again. Yeah, honestly, if Messi leaves this season, which I'm kind of happy that Bartomeu's out now because maybe they could do something. If there's one thing to salvage our season, to me, it would be to save Messi at at Barca. I don't want to see him playing anywhere else. Even Man City. Like, I'm like, Man City doesn't even look good anymore. They're not even in the top 4 right now. So, you know.
The one place I see him going is City, or maybe Argentina. No, I don't believe he will go to come here, United States.
I think he'll come to MLS in like 3 or 4 years.
He said in the interview in the summer that his dream is not here. You know, some players you can tell they're going to come here at some point, but I don't feel like Messi is that one player.
Yeah, but you never know, bro. You never know. So, yeah.
I mean, what about Ronaldo? You think Ronaldo gonna go to the MLS?
Yeah, he'll come. He'll definitely come.
Yeah.
I see him like playing at LA Galaxy and then making movies or something like
What
that.
What about with Beckham? You think he'll play with Beckham instead?
Either one. Like, he likes a big city. I don't think he'll go to New York. I think he'll either go to LA or Miami, just because like that is like such a Ronaldo thing. Like, I can see him like, okay, like he's playing right next to the best striker in the MLS, Chicharito.
What's the
I'm
best
just
city
kidding.
to come to the MLS than Charlotte? Why don't
For
we
real.
get him?
There's no way we are getting Ronaldo.
Nah, I imagine though. It's a possibility. Cause think about it, he wouldn't come anytime soon.
I mean, there's a possibility that he'll play for Charlotte FC, but that's like saying Diego Maradona is gonna come and play for Charlotte.
Yeah,
It's not gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, it's hard.
Nice.
But knowing Ronaldo, his mentality, how he thinks, looking his, listening to his interviews, he's so ambitious that he might go to a different country, maybe PSG, just because he wants to conquer every country.
Yeah, man.
Break records and break records, and this guy says he might play into 38 years old.
Yeah. Speaking of that, then, like, one of the things that I've seen about Serie A this season is Milan's looking really good. Honestly, personally, I don't think they're looking that good. I just think Zlatan is doing really well. You know, and Homeboy's 39 years old, and I'm like, okay, for him to keep up that kind of pace, he even came to, I think he tore his ACL when he was at Man United.
Yeah.
And for him to come back out of that, still be an amazing player at 35 in itself was amazing. Now at 39, he's just scored a brace for Milan this week, and last weekend he did as well. And I'm like, okay, like, that's like unheard of, especially in Europe, you know? So do you guys think Ronaldo or Messi could do something similar?
I think Ronaldo might, just because of the way he thinks. Like, if you think about it, him and Zlatan low-key think the same. But you can't compare them because one has won the most and then one hasn't won everything that the other player has won. You feel me?
Ibra, man, like he calls himself a lion. He's a lion. I believe he has a tattoo. That's what he sees himself. He's a monster. You like Olympia, huh? Real España. But man, Ibra, he's still killing it. He's still killing it. And Ronaldo will probably do the same, get to that age and continue just scoring goals and breaking records. But what is unheard of is having a tall player like Ibra continue his career. Usually tall players like him, his height, have retired, have got injured. Peter Crouch, many in the history that by 32 they're done. Because being tall, pretty much you are most likely to get injured, and Ibra, you can tell he takes care of his body and he's adapting, and he's there in number 9, he's there in the area just ready to attack.
Even some of the goals that he scores like are freaking crazy, especially at this age. That's what gets me. Like, okay, like I remember you scoring 10 years ago like that, but now I'm like, oh my God, like who is this man, you know?
I think he's just going to keep surprising us, to be honest, because when he tore his ACL at Man United, the reason he went to LA Galaxy was because he thought he wasn't going to be a top striker anymore.
No, people thought he wasn't going to be a top striker, right?
Yeah.
He knew, like, he said it himself. He's like, I'm going to come back stronger. And, like, you know, like, oh, yeah, everybody says that, right?
Yeah, facts.
But then he actually did it. Because even, like, I mean, like, LA Galaxy replaces Zlatan with Chicharito. Chicharito's done nothing.
Nothing. And
right?
Zlatan scored 2 bangers in his debut
Yeah.
for LA Galaxy.
Yeah, man. Which shows me, like, okay, like, that's the kind of mentality or the type of player that I would like Barca to get, like, in terms of a striker.
No,
Like, we need that. You know what I'm saying?
You think losing Suarez was a big L?
Not really. I think we should have kept him and brought in another striker, because Suarez is a 20 to 25 minute striker now. Like, he's still a really good striker, but he's not a great striker anymore. You know, kind of like Piqué is a really good defender, but he's not a great defender anymore, you know. And I think like once you get past the age of like 31 or 32, like the players that really like care about their health and the endurance and like I feel like I remember when Iniesta was 33 and Ronaldo was 33. Like Iniesta looked done. Right, that's why he went to Japan. No, I mean, like, I love Iniesta, one of my favorite players of all time. I'm like, I'm not trying to like diss him or anything, but then I looked at Ronaldo. I was like, bro, you guys are the same age. How does Ronaldo look like a fit player at that age? But I'm like, it's all about like the way you take care of your body, the mentality, and I'm like, I see that in Zlatan, right? And so I agree with you. I think Ronaldo at 38, 39 will be like that. I don't think Messi will be like that.
You think Messi will retire before Ronaldo?
That's a really good question, bro. Before I would have told you no, but now I'm kind of doubting it, seeing how good Zlatan is at 39.
Facts.
Because I'm like, I could see Messi playing till maybe like 36, right? And then like either calling it quits or going to Argentina and, you know, playing in Newell's for like a season or something.
That's what I was going to say. That's where he need to go back, just to end it off at home. Pretty much.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I would like him to retire at Barca, like maybe winning like another. The dream would be another Champions League, but that's going to be really very difficult this season. Maybe next season if they get two good defenders and a striker.
I think that Lautaro would be a good buy.
Yeah, actually, me too, bro. I was looking at him and I was like, okay, like I would like him at Barca. The only thing is I don't think he's a on and on striker, but I think he could play that position really well.
Yeah, I think he might eventually adapt, and I think that he's gonna end up going to Barca.
Yeah, it looks destined for it, and so because now that they're holding elections in Barcelona, like Laporte, who used to be the president a couple of years ago when we had like Guardiola and prime Xavi, prime Iniesta, yeah, man. He's coming back and he wants to bring Guardiola back. So I was like, yo, okay, like that would be really cool because I feel like Guardiola's done at Man City. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Man City don't look like that great team anymore. I mean, they couldn't beat Leeds. They couldn't beat West Ham. Like, they're not doing that great. And so I'm like, okay, like it feels like that team and Pep Guardiola are past their prime together.
And the crazy thing is that they spend and spend and spend on these great players, and he still can't take the Champions League home. He might be done at Man City, honestly, but I don't think he's going to leave until he gets the Champions League title.
I feel like Messi will retire about the same as Ronaldo. Remember, Ronaldo is a little older, 2 years. Believe they have kind of like the same birthday, but they will probably retire at the same age. Messi seems more done than Ronaldo and Ibra at the moment. I mean, he has the talent. He still has it there, but remember, he's not... unless he adapts as another position, as Ronaldo has, or Ibra just waiting for the ball, killing striker right there. Messi, he can't do all the work. He can't do all the work, and your legs get to you, man. Your legs get there. And 2 years from now, maybe after the World Cup. After the World Cup, that's it.
I can see that.
And talking about the new president of Barcelona, I feel like Lautaro might come between, depending on who comes to the presidency. Because remember, you have to get chosen. You have to get the most votes, and it's who you say as who you bringing in, who you bring as your coach. Somebody might say, I'm bringing Xavi, and I'm bringing some striker. And then the other one might say, hey, Laporte, I'm bringing Guardiola, and my star signing is this guy. So it all depends who says who's bringing who.
I think it's funny how they do it there because it's like an auction off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, all right, I'm bringing this coach. Okay, do I hear anything better? I'm bringing a coach and a striker. All right, this guy. You know?
I was honestly surprised that they got Koeman, though. Like, that's not who I would have thought they were gonna get,
that was a Bartomeu coach. Yeah. And, like, even... Like, he started, I felt like he started the season well because the players looked ready. It looked good. I was like, okay, we're still missing a 9. But then I see it, like, where the mentality is not there with the players. They lost when they went down against Getafe. Like, they didn't have the mentality to come back. And same thing with Real Madrid. I'm like, okay, like, it would have been different if they would have went down 2-1 and then you saw, like, them trying to score or, like, make really good attempts. And I didn't see that. Like, they tried, but, like, it wasn't, like a good effort, I feel like.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It all comes to who's the captain. That's when you see your captain with your head down, and unless you see a Ramos lifting your players, let's go, come on, get in ball, or you see a Messi like head down, and that's what you saw against Liverpool. That's what you saw against Bayern Munich. That's what you see against Madrid, and you need somebody to lift your team. And Piqué is just arguing with your defenders and blaming each other. You see the same thing with Busquets, just head down, man. Who are the young players are learning from these guys? They need a good leader in order for them to overcome or come back from these deficits in games.
Speaking of that, I think that since Messi is captain of Barca, like, they all look up to him, right? Because he's the star. And since his mentality isn't really like, well, at the moment, this whole season has been chaotic for him.
Yeah.
Because Messi was supposed to leave, right?
Yeah. He wanted to go.
Yeah. And they didn't let him because they wanted to take him to court, this and that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that mentality that he's got right now of wanting to leave away from Barca is what's affecting their gameplay.
Yeah, it is. I would say it adds on to it. I semi-agree with you in terms of the leadership perspective. Because I think just Messi, his personality is not the type of person that's going to be yelling on the field, right? Like, I feel like he does his leadership in a different way where, like, okay, like, when he's playing well, like, players feed off of that, right? And, like, I've seen certain interviews where players talk about, like, Messi, like, okay, like, he'll talk to you, but, like, not on the field. He's not going to yell at you on the field like Ramos will. Yeah, Ramos, like, he will say something on the side or, like, and so I'm like, okay. But then, like, I feel like every time there's a heavy defeat on Barca, everybody looks at Messi, and I'm like, okay, like, he can't be the defender, goalie, striker, and midfielder. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, with the Liverpool game a couple years ago, I'm like, bro, they won 3-0, and he scored twice at Camp Nou. Like, all they had to do was finish it off. Like, you can't blame him for losing 4-0 that game.
That's true.
Well, the reason people blame usually Messi, they're usually going to
the star player. Yeah, I get that.
When they don't show up, and it's because he doesn't show up to the big games. I know there's a 2-leg game.
Recently he hasn't.
The last 5 years. The last 5 years.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Juventus, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, PSG. Man, it goes on and on. And all you see every post after in the newspaper, head down. And
he's got to get a breath, bro. Like, he can't.
You cannot get a breath in a big game. That's when you need the stars show up. That's when Ronaldo shows up in semifinals. That's when your team needs you the most, and that's where you see Ronaldo with Juventus coming back against Atletico, where they lost away 2-0, but at home you score all 3 goals and you come back. Same thing you used to see against with Real Madrid, home and away against Atletico Madrid. Wolfsburg 2015, the year they won it.
Yeah, but we could say the same thing about Ronaldo the last 4 years. Outside of the Nations League Cup that he's won with Portugal, like, okay, like, he has had games where, like, he's pulled Juventus and maybe they haven't crossed that line for him. So that's where I would see the difference, where, like, Ronaldo does have that, like, okay, mentality, and his teammates don't play up to him. But I still would disagree in terms of the Messi aspect, because I think it's similar with Messi. Like, he plays in big games, and yeah, he hasn't showed up in some, but overall, like, when you break it down player by player, he's usually one of the best out of the worst bunch.
Yeah, no, I agree, because Messi is one of the best players in the world.
Yeah,
that's no doubt. But
even last season, man, he was the top assister and top goal scorer of La Liga, and they still lost it. Like,
20, right?
Yeah, like, you can't blame him. Like, bro, he was both top assister and top goal scorer.
Don't get me wrong, he's one of the best. I love seeing him, man. But you cannot just score against bottom teams. You need to show up against Atletico Madrid. You need to show up against Real Madrid. You haven't scored in the last,
since 2018.
Since Ronaldo left, he has
since
not
2018. That's what, like, 4 Clásicos. Like, they make it a big deal when it doesn't have to be a big deal.
You need to show up in the big games, man. You cannot.
He has shown up in really big games. He's shown up
against Cádiz. You cannot just score against.
He took Argentina to a final of a World Cup. He's scored in Champions League finals, 2009 against Manchester United, 2011 again against Manchester United. 2015 he wasn't the star, but he played really well in that final. So I think he shows up. I agree with you, the last couple of years it hasn't been there, but if you look at the trajectory of a Messi, I wouldn't say he's a player that doesn't show up in big games.
you're right. He showed up against Manchester United in the finals when Barcelona was at the top. Guardiola, tiki taka.
Listen, that Man U team was really
Yes,
good too.
you-
Both
they
of
were-
those times
I saw that
in 09, yeah.
in 09. Yes.
11 years ago.
11 years ago. We're talking about the last couple years, but
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
yeah. But that's where you need to show up, man. But I mean, right now the team looks up to him, like you said, and that's when you need to step it up. And the finals, man, that's that little what he's missing. The finals, the semifinals. But like I said, like last year, Atletico Madrid, you were almost about to lose the La Liga against Madrid, and you didn't score. You tied.
Yeah.
Liverpool. I'm sorry. Bayern Munich showed up, man.
Yeah. That game, that's the game that I do question his leadership the most, that 8-2. Because I was like, okay, like, this is the game where Messi needs, like, every other game, I can slide off of him because I know that's not the personality who he is. But that 8-2, like, you need to show something. Like, I didn't like that he didn't come out and didn't talk. That didn't say, you know what, like, we lost. Like, okay, like, I didn't play my best. That's, as a captain, you need to do that.
Yeah,
know?
he kind of like
He kind of just
brushed it
bounced.
to the side,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So, but I kind of get it because that's never been Messi, Like, if in the past when they won, he would have been obnoxious and said, yo, like, yada, yada. But I'm like, okay, he's never been like that. Even when they win, like, they got to force him to come and talk,
I don't want to sound just negative on Messi, but
Dang,
man,
all right.
yeah.
So we know Jonathan hates Messi.
No, I don't. It's just that thought that he's the best right now. He's there. He's top 3.
He's still the
Top
greatest
2.
player. He's just not the best right now.
Yeah, he's not
That's
at
like
his best
when
right
Michael
now.
Jordan was at the Wizards. Like, okay, like, he wasn't the best player anymore, but he was still the greatest,
He's still
right?
like one of the greatest.
Yeah.
He scored up. Let me tell you, about 20 goals against Madrid, and I've seen him for a long time. And
He's about to give the reign over to Ansu Fati, so.
he is. Something about El Clásico I noticed.
Uh-huh.
The mixture of youth and older players, where usually in the Clásico you're used to stars.
Yeah.
And right now you can only name a couple.
Yeah.
Barcelona got rid of Suarez, Vidal. They still have 2 or 3 World Cup champions like Piqué and Busquets, but apart from that, just Messi,
And
star
Ter
Madrid.
Stegen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ter Stegen, he's amazing. But he didn't play though.
Yeah.
And Madrid, you can only name a couple, even though they're older too.
Yeah.
As well. We're usually stacked, and they say this matchup against this guy.
Yeah,
this
bro.
guy against.
I
they're
remember
going to go at it.
2014, 2015, those years where you had Gareth Bale, you had Ronaldo, you had Ozil, Kroos, you had all these players, and then on the other side you got Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, like you got Prime Piqué. Like you're looking forward to these games, and now I'm like, okay, it's gonna be like an okay El Clásico because the teams they both lost the game prior. Madrid hasn't won a game in the Champions League. Like Barca's won, but I'm like, okay, they still don't convince me, and so I'm like, okay, like. I feel like La Liga is dying a little bit, kind of like how Serie A was dying a couple 5-10 years ago, where no top player was going there. I feel like the same thing is happening in La Liga.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that we're seeing the last of Messi.
Yeah,
I love
in
watching
this
him.
form, in this Barcelona.
This Barcelona.
That's what's
this
sad to
era.
me.
Yeah, you're right. You used to compare Neymar going against Bale, Benzema against Suarez, Ronaldo versus Messi. Who was gonna do better? You will see
Mourinho versus
Carvajal,
Pep.
Jordi Alba. Yes, we missed that, but I'm still happy we saw a good game overall. You thought it was going to be a bad game. No fans. Both teams playing bad, still playing bad.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was a good Clásico, and we got to see a little bit of the future. Ansu Fati, Vinicius, and then you got Barcelona, Pedri, Real Madrid.
I don't think he should have started.
Valverde, he scored. 2 young players that we got in the future. Showed up.
So cool, yeah. So I think La Liga has a lot of things to decipher these next couple of years if it wants to keep a good fan base. Because once Messi's gone, if they don't replace it and more great players start coming back to those top teams, then like no one's gonna be watching La Liga that much. 'Cause honestly, like Barca and Madrid carry them, and if they don't have great players, like we're gonna go over and watch more Premier League games. And speaking of the Premier League, we got a big matchup this weekend against Arsenal and Man United. And so that's going to be a good one because both teams are playing very, not great, Arsenal just lost to Leicester 1-0. Man United tied with Chelsea. And I think Ole's under pressure. I don't think Arsenal's coach is yet. But you start seeing it like, okay, like they're not winning against big teams, right? Like, yeah, they did a cup run and won a cup, but that's very different than La Ligue.
It's domestic.
Yeah. So what do you guys see in both of those teams? Who's
Honestly,
looking?
I think Arteta's doing a good job though. Like slowly but surely, with time, you just got to give him a little more time, and he got it in the bag, honestly. Because Arteta, the way he just sees it, and all the knowledge he got from Arsenal, he's putting what he was taught, like from Wenger, into his system.
Yeah.
And changing it up a bit because of what Guardiola has taught him.
Yeah.
And Guardiola taught him a lot.
He did, but what I would question about Arteta is every time I see Arsenal play, they don't look like a great striking, like when you look at Guardiola's teams, like they're like offensive tiki-taka, like yo, like this team like overwhelm you. Arsenal doesn't. Arsenal plays more defensive and like, okay, like they have games where they score, but like when I think of Arteta's Arsenal, I don't think of a striking, like a forward passing playing type of team. Like they just look very like, okay, like everybody stay in your position and like we'll play better, but like it's not like they don't have like a, now that Ozil's not playing on the team anymore, like they need a creative player. Like when you look at Guardiola's midfielders, it's always stacked with great creative players.
Even Foden, who's a little kid, he's amazing.
Yeah, man, he's doing well. Yeah.
Didn't he put him in as striker when the past weekend?
Yeah,
and
the false
scored,
nine,
right? That's crazy.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Jonathan?
It should be a good matchup because both teams are going to come to look for points. They both need wins
desperately.
Desperately. Arsenal's lost the last 2 Premier League games, I believe. Man U tied against Chelsea 0-0. You want to see that Man U that went at Paris and beat PSG last week. You can't have a inconsistent team like that. And if they want to get top 4, they need to get it together.
That's what I would criticize. Like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had chances to like pull these teams and like go from average to like, okay, like he's gonna have good teams. Like they had a run last year where they made it to 3rd place, but then this season they didn't kick on, right? And that game against PSG was like the best Man U I've seen all year, because honestly they've been really bad. And but I think one thing that's saving him is like they didn't bring any players to him that he wanted. Right, like they brought Van de Beek, but he was on the, like, he's like on the bench. He's not replacing Pogba, he's not replacing Bruno Fernandes, and like at the end they got Cavani, which Cavani's still a good player, but I'm like that doesn't resolve any of the issues that you had with your team, you know? Yeah,
that's
too much.
Yeah. So what would be your score predictions for that game?
For me, I'm been watching Arsenal, and that defense, man, they look iffy with Mustafi. They have, did you see David Luiz injured?
Yeah, he got injured.
Oh, man. They only have Gabriel now, and hopefully they bring the other young kid.
Holden?
Holden is actually injured, too, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, Saliba. But he hasn't, like, I feel like he's not giving him a chance. I don't know why.
Because Man U has power up front. They can get you in counterattack different ways on a header. But at the end of the day, my prediction is 0-0, 0-0.
All that to say 0-0.
I gotta go with a tie, but I think there's gonna be goals. Probably 2-2.
Okay, I see a Man U win, man. Honestly, I think they're in a little bit of a better bounce. They beat PSG. Yeah, they tied against Chelsea, but like, I feel like Frank, all he did that game was like, okay, we've been conceding goals all the time. Let's figure out how to defend, right? Forget attacking, even though you have a plethora of great attackers in your team, right? And so, but I think Man U is kind of a little bit on the up. And when I say on the up for what Man U is now, right? And so, like, even like this season, like, there's no clear favorites for the Prem anymore. Now that we lost Van Dijk, I'm a Liverpool fan, so we lost Van Dijk. Fabinho got injured today, so I'm like, bro, there's nobody in the back now. And so I don't know if like he's going to be out for a while, but I'm like, the one good thing I still see about that Liverpool team is the mentality.
Yeah,
like they haven't been playing like this season. I've seen them play 2 really good games, and every other game has been like a tough, like we got to pull out the win. But I'm like, okay, that's good because you got other teams that aren't doing that. Man City's not doing that. Arsenal's not doing that. Chelsea, the other top teams that are supposed to be fighting for the league, aren't doing that. And the only team that's doing it is Everton. But like, okay, like I don't think they'll be consistent enough
What
through
about
the season.
Spurs?
I don't think they'll be consistent. They were up 3-0 minute 80 and lost and tied
That is
3-3.
right. Yeah, that's right.
So I'm like, okay, like Mourinho will get him in a top 4 position. I don't think they'll win the league. Like it's a very like I bet somebody that if Spurs win the league, I'm shaving my head. So
Yeah, you
it
heard
is on
him.
camera. Nice. Well, awesome. That concludes the episode of the Top Bin 90 show, boys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for having us.